All right, folks, pull that sitting log in close and mind the sparks. Fire's settled into a good glow. Coffee's been boiling long enough to tell the truth, and the night's wide enough to hold a story as big as Texas itself. This one ain't just a tale, it's a birth story. And like all births, it came with blood, grit, faith, and more than a little stubbornness. This here's how Texas came to be, told the old way. Slow, steady, and by a man who's heard the wind repeat it back more than once. Long before Texas had a name, this land was already alive. The first folks to know it were native tribes, Caddo in the piney woods, Comanche on the plains, Karankawa on the coast, Apache roaming wide. They didn't own the land, they belonged to it, followed the buffalo, read the rivers, and understood the sky like a language. Then came the Europeans. The Spanish arrived first, boots dusty and crosses raised, looking for gold and souls in equal measure. They planted flags, built missions, and tried to tame a land that didn't care much for orders. Missions rose, presidios followed, and Spain claimed Texas mostly on paper, because on the ground the land still belonged to the wind, and whoever could survive it. For centuries, Texas stayed wild. Spain ruled it loosely. Mexico inherited it later. Settlers were few, distances long, and law traveled slow. That's when Mexico made a decision that changed everything. They invited Americans in. Men like Stephen F. Austin brought families across the Sabine River. Farmers, dreamers, hard cases. They came for land, freedom, and room to breathe. They brought slaves too, and that contradiction would one day split the ground under everyone's boots. Trouble grew quiet at first, then loud. Mexico tightened its grip. Laws changed. Rights shrank. Texas Mexican-born and American alike started talking about independence. Not because they wanted to fight, but because Texas has never done well with someone else, telling it who it is. Then came 1836. The Alamo wasn't big. It wasn't meant to be remembered forever, but it became a spark. Travis, Bowie, Crockett, men who knew they weren't walking out, but stayed anyway. When the Alamo fell, Texas didn't die, it got angry. Remember, the Alamo wasn't just a cry, it was a promise. At San Jacinto, Sam Houston and a ragged army caught Santa Anna resting. 18 minutes, that's all it took. Texas won its freedom faster than most folks finished supper. And just like that, Texas was its own country. The Republic of Texas stood proud and broke. Flags flew, debt piled up. Borders were argued over with rifles and ink. For 10 years, Texas tried being independent, strong-willed, stubborn, and looking for a place to belong without giving up its soul. Eventually, Texas joined the United States, but not quietly. It kept its land, its pride, and its habit of doing things its own way. Then came more change. Railroads cut the land, and cattle drives followed. Cowboys were born, not the movie kind, but the real ones. Dusty, tired, underpaid, and tougher than the land they rode. Oil came later, black gold bursting out of the ground and turning towns into cities overnight. Texas fought in wars, split in the Civil War, rebuilt. Boom towns rose and fell. Music found its voice: blues, Tejano, country, outlaw songs born from hard miles and harder lives. Cities grew like Dallas, sharp and fast. Houston wide and restless. San Antonio rooted in memory. Austin strange and proud of it. Ranch land turned suburban. Still the land remembered. Today, Texas stands big in land, big in attitude, big in contradiction. Cowboys and coders, oil rigs and windmills, Spanish names, German towns, Mexican roots, and stories older than fences. Texas ain't perfect, never claimed to be, but it's honest about what it is. A place born from clash and courage, raised by people who didn't quit when things got hard. That's the birth of Texas. Fire's burning low now and coffee is near gone. Stars are still hanging where they've always been, watching over a land that refuses to shrink. This has been Lone Star Stories. Come on back next time, pull up a seat and listen close, 'cause there's always another tall Texas tale to be told under the Lone Star.